Welcome. We're here at the Kennedy Center with the three puppeteers who play Joey in the production of Warhorse. Before we move on with some questions, if we could have the three of you introduce yourselves and talk about what part of Joey you operate.
My name is Ariel Heller, and I puppeteer the head of Joey.
My name is Ross Green, and I puppeteer the heart of Joey.
My name is Ian Pears, and I operate the hind of Joey.
Thank you so much. If you could talk a little bit about, there are three of you obviously, and Joey's a large horse, a large puppet. If you could talk a little bit about what it's like to work together as a team to operate a puppet that has to act as one single being.
Well, I think the Basil and Adrian of Handspring Puppet Company would say that it starts with the breath. The first thing is the breath and linking us together as one. We're three people playing one role, and the mechanism, the puppet, is a very big physical effort, and it's also important that we're in tune physically with each other. But bringing ourselves to the role, the first thing that we have to think about is really the breath and where we are emotionally, and that starts day one of rehearsals. And it continues all the way through to today, every day. And there are lots of other physical challenges and things we have to think about the staging and the story, but staying connected with each other, we can really know where we're at with the state of our emotion through the breath.
I think it's also working as one character, but three of us working. It's really, really exciting to be able to, like the moments where, because of what Ariel was saying about all of us breathing together and keeping the breath together, those moments where without thinking you all just make the same decisions, and it makes for a really, really exciting experience on stage and for the audience as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and I think the main thing that it's egoless. Like, you can have no ego coming into this. You're not the star. Joey's the star, so we all work together, and it ends up just being 2 hours of playing with your best friends on stage, is how we now see it, but it takes a long time to get to that point. Yeah. So, yeah.
You talked a little bit about thinking about the breath, or thinking about how Joey's supposed to act. How much of being on stage in the production is improvisatory, and how much of it is scripted out? And I think that you can take that a little further, because you obviously play Joey outside of the stage for situations like this. How much of being Joey is an improvisatory act, and how much of it is kind of a learned cycle of routines?
So within the show, it's quite improvised. We have our very set scenes, so we have to be in certain places at certain time. But the way we're taught is we respond to tone. So if a different actor goes on for a different role, they might say a line and they might shout it. So Joey would respond. We're not going to stand there and be still and go, no, we do it like this. And certainly with events like this, it's all about improvisation. We don't know how people are going to respond. We don't know who's going to be sat in what seat. We have to, it's mainly improvisation. But we're on the stage, we have all set pieces.
Yeah, and a key to the performance as well is remembering that we are an animal, a live animal, on top of being, like Finn Caldwell was saying about the puppeteer's job when they step on stage is to live, and when you come to it from that perspective, sure, there are marks, there are cues, there's lights, we have a responsibility to tell a story, and there are places in the show where you have to be at a certain place, but getting from point A to point B is all about being alive in that moment, and it's very exciting when the three of us are really tuned into each other, and we have those moments of discovery in the moment. It feels like a spontaneous moment of improvisation and just being there. Yeah.
Well, you talked a little bit about the boundaries of being in a character that is a horse. Obviously, there are things that a horse can't do. It can't roll over on its back to rub its belly, Maybe it can. I don't know. But What did you have to do to learn more about how a horse acts? Was there a process where the three of you went out and worked with horses, or did they have a horse come and work with the puppeteers and actors on the set?
So when we started rehearsing, we have 2 weeks of training just with the puppets to get familiar with the puppets, get familiar with each other, and during those 2 weeks and continuously then throughout the whole process, is constant research about horses and visiting stables and riding horses and talking to experts, and we have forums online where we can all put up videos and research we found, so we're constantly sharing information as well, so we're all on the same page. It's a lot of work, but very, very exciting and very interesting to find constantly finding new things that you can put into the show as well, and into the improvisation that we can discover together.
And you turn into a bit of kind of a horse nerd. You got every horse you see, you're like looking at the back legs or looking at the head. So it's constantly, you'll see a police horse and you'll be like, that's out of time. Horses, you're always looking. So yeah.
Have there been any moments while you're playing Joey where some sort of experts on horses will call you out on something and says, "Oh, there's no way that can ever happen"?
It's the exact opposite, actually. I don't know how many times real horsemen or people who have horsemanship background. Just recently, we were in Los Angeles and did a presentation like we did today, and a woman raised her hand during a Q&A and said that she's grown up with horses, she's a horse expert, and she was just so blown away, which is always to us, I mean, that's just the best thing you can say to us, where we sort of disappear into Joey, and we bring him to life, and we trust all of our research and all our training, like Ross was saying, and they really, you just want to go with it. You want to, again, as Finn Caldwell says, you're inviting in to play, and you're using your imagination and trusting the work that we've done. It's really, I don't know. It's the same for you guys?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We learned about the physicality of performing Joey, especially about holding a rider on you. Is there any way you could talk to us a little bit about that process, about learning to deal with that, and actually some of the physical difficulties of performing as Joey?
Well, I mean, with the rider's weight is held between me and Ian, basically on our shoulders, because we have the harnesses, the backpacks inside Joey. That process is very much a partnership between the rider and the people inside the puppet, because the rider needs to keep his core muscles very strong, otherwise, because any tiny movement from the rider on top of the horse is a big movement for us inside the puppet. It is strenuous and difficult, but the training and the exercises we learn, like things like, I like to do Pilates, Ian likes to do yoga to keep the strength and flexibility to prevent injury, really.
Yeah.